Welcome, folks. As you can see, we're walking again, doing another walking video. Today, we're talking about the simple solving the complex. So many times when I am doing a webinar or a seminar, or even just talking with folks, I'm perplexed by people making things more difficult, challenging, harder, complex than they really need to be. So here in this video, we're going to explore 3 examples of where a simple approach can solve something that a lot of humans try to overcomplicate. First up, when we are listening or empathizing or having a conversation with someone, a lot of times we make those conversations harder than they need to be. And specifically, our role in listening. A lot of times I tell leaders and people in the workplace, and even, this would probably work in your personal life, but a lot of times when you sit down with someone to talk to them, we don't know if we're supposed to listen to just understand their situation and what they're going through, or are we to listen to solve problems or help them, give them advice. One of the easiest things to do is to sit down and say, am I here to understand what's going on, or to help you solve problems and come up with some ideas? If it's a personal relationship, a lot of times we can sit down and simply say, am I here to listen with logic or love? A lot of times our spouse, partners, and significant others will say, I need your brain power because we got to solve a problem. Or, no, just love, just listen, just hear me out. The second time that we have a really big tendency to overcomplicate things is when we're trying to solve problems. So many times when I'm speaking on critical thinking and strategic thinking, leaders struggle with doing root cause analysis and an analysis of the root cause and making sure that I have the single causative agent. And they get very, very interested in using ChatGPT and data sources and apps and websites to calculate what? Why not just pull your folks, your team together and say, how are you experiencing the problem? What are you going through? When you experience this problem that we're all aware we have, what do you notice? What's going on? A lot of times that's the best place to start. They'll have some interesting perspectives. And you'll also find that it's, probably different with all folks. Some people will come in and go, well, I'm experiencing this. And the other person goes, well, I don't have it that bad. And yet a third person will say, oh, I got it worse than all of you. Right away now, we have a very good understanding of what's going on, and we have a lot of different people in the room with a lot of different experiences with the problem. Another time that people make things way more complex, and the simple would solve this complex issue, is, finding out about folks. Maybe building a relationship, finding out about their strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of times they want me to, again, point them to an app, or is there a script somewhere? No, why not just let the simple solve the complex and ask people, hey, what are you interested in? What do you like to do in your spare time? What do you see as your strengths? What are your biggest threats or risks or weaknesses? See, so many times the simple approach will solve the complex. I will be the first to say that mantra of the simple solving the complex is not something that applies every single time. But I do think it's a good place to start almost every single time, at least to open up the discussion, find out where people are. Maybe the problem that we're looking at is very complex, and we need to find someone who can help us diagnose the single causative agent. And sometimes we might need to use an app or strength finders or some sort of fancy analysis to come up with people's strengths and really pinpoint how strong they are so we can measure if there are improvements. But a lot of times, I think people just want to make things harder than they need to be. Maybe it's about feeling more important, or maybe they feel like they're going to miss something if they don't use some sort of fancy approach. But the next time you have a problem, maybe just start with, how are you experiencing the problem? The next time you want to find out about someone's strengths, maybe just sit down and say, hey, what are your strengths? How do you see them? What's your take on those strengths? And the next time you want to empathize with someone, sit down with them and say, hey, would it be best if I listened with logic or to simply understand what you want to talk about? Until next time, folks, take care of yourself so you can take care of each other, and I'll see you again real soon.